Welcome, summoners, to games cast by PawnGypsy. If you wish to see more commented games, follow my social media pages below. I believe this will be One Trick Ponies versus Motion32 Gaming, as it was stated at the end. A fair number of kind of semi-troll bans with Mordekaiser, LeBlanc, and Brand being banned out, but I think that's mostly so the teams can kind of get the champions they want and not have anything really banned out. For the blue side, we do see Amumu, Olaf, Lulu, Katarina, and Graves. For the purple side, we see Misfortune, Sona, Rumble, Morgana, and a jungle Elise. That's a lot of damage coming out from both teams. And this is really going to come down to whether Katarina can start snowballing. Because if Katarina doesn't snowball, she's going to really fall off. And it's going to be hard for her to snowball with the Morgana there. Able to throw the black shield out, and the Sona able to heal up anyone who gets hurt and provide them a little bit of extra defenses. There's also not a whole lot of damage over on the blue side, though the Amumu combo with Lulu and Graves should be able to provide enough AoE damage to get Katarina some resets, assuming they're not too far behind. Though the big question here I'm wondering is, how is Elise jungle going to do? Elise jungle seems to be either really good or really bad, and I never really know which one it is. It's usually depends on the first few levels, if she can get a kill off from a gank, or is just kind of left alone to farm. But if she gets counter ganked, it becomes real ugly real fast. Looks like we are also going to see Misfortune popping out a cleanse, probably much needed, as she doesn't want to get hit with that Amumu ultimate. That's about the only thing she really can cleanse out of. Graves opting for cleanse as well, not wanting to get one of those dark bindings. And if the dark binding lands, it is going to spell doom, because Rumble can combo that with his ultimate. Morgana can flash in and pop her own ultimate, and that's going to be really deadly if those two ultimates can get off together. Especially with Sona on top of it, because you can keep everyone in the Rumble ultimate for the full duration if you can land both the Sona and Morgana ultimates. In addition to that, it allows Elise to just jump into the back line, and if Elise is in your back line, it's going to spell real trouble, even if she's behind, because people like Graves that do most of the damage are going to have to spend most of the time kiting. The only other real big damage threat is going to be the Katarina. Olaf's not going to be a huge damage threat, as he's going to have to build fairly tanky and just soak the damage and go in and try and pick off the Misfortune, as I don't think Rumble or Morgana is going to sit in the back line for too long. They're going to both want to be up in the fight, popping their ultimates or Flame Spitter. The delay is almost over, and we'll be getting into the game. And I definitely have to give the edge to the purple team this time, because I think that double AP combo, or triple AP if Elise decides to go with the AP, is going to really carry them to a victory. I don't think Katarina is going to be able to get the reset she needs, especially now with all that short range CC of Sona Morgana, just really going to be able to shut her down. Though that is the only real ways they have to stop her ultimate from going off and kind of stop her reset. I don't think it's going to be enough this game. Though another X factor in this game will be the Amumu. Will he be able to land those big ultimates that hit multiple people and really just stop the enemy team in their tracks? I'm not sure he's going to be able to, but he's going to have to. Though the one advantage Elise does bring to your team is he will be able to stop a lot of those skill shots. Looks like if Elise is in spider farm and Amumu throws out a bandage toss, it will hit a spider, and Elise can just start running before Amumu gets there, so the entire team is just a little farther away. And I really do think that if Katarina can get resets, she's going to be in good shape. But as I said a moment ago, I'm not sure she's going to be able to get them. She just doesn't have any way to really be silenced out of her ultimate. They do have Elise with a single target stun, Morgana with her ultimate, Sona with her ultimate, but nothing that really instantly knocks her down from anywhere, like a silence or anything of the sort. It's just those ultimates and the Elise. And I really think that they're going to have to play standard both sides here, as I don't foresee a lane swap working out well, as Rumble doesn't lane swap particularly well. Olaf does it fairly well, but neither one of them get really shut down by a lane swap, though they do get hurt by it. I think it's going to be basically standard, and I don't see a jungle invade happening, as both teams have fairly strong level 1s, with Lulu and Olaf providing a massive amount of slow, though Rumble and Sona along with the massive duration of the Dark Binding of Morgana, will be pretty powerful if they decide to level 1 fight. And I think both sides are just going to back up, say, we're not fighting level 1, that's too risky, and they're going to go and just take their buffs as normal. Elise has just now finishing loading up, and we should have the game starting at any point now. And this is going to be an alt fest, quite honestly, to see if Katarina can get her ult off, Graves get her ult off, Amumu get her ult off, or if Sona, Rumble, and Morgana will be able to get their ultimates off. And another big thing is Misfortune ultimate. If they can chain the Morgana ultimate and Sona ultimates with a Misfortune and Rumble ultimates, that's going to be really deadly. And we're going to have to start looking at if they actually decide to team fight instead of just split push. Looks like we are having fairly standard item choices all around, with flasks and lots of potions up on basically everyone. Though Rumble has opted for boots in addition to boots on Misfortune instead of picking up that longsword. I think she wants the additional potion and the ability to just go in and out. Looks like the red team might try and invade a little bit, but they will be spotted out here, as Amumu is just kind of actually spotting them in the mid lane. Looks like the red team is going to run around, and it is being pinged, so they will know if someone's there. Will Lulu actually drop a ward over the wall? Yes, she does. Dark Binding does come out, but she is flashed, and you burn a flash on Lulu. That's probably worth it in and of itself. The blue team will have time to respawn by running over and taking their own blue. A ward was placed, and I do believe they know about it. But that does burn a ward out. Looks like Morgana is going to go top. Will Olaf see it? Yes, Olaf will see it. And they could actually run Morgana top with a Rumble mid, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're just going to kind of use that for bait to try and get lane swaps to happen or something to go on. Though nothing is going to really happen at this point, as there is not really any important wards going down. Both sides just kind of defending their jungle. And Amumu's going to have a little bit of trouble in the jungle, as he does not get a good leash. Olaf might be able to get there in time for a little bit of extra damage, but he is going to be a little late to the party. And leashing from blue side on the blue buff is much more difficult, as you do have Misfortune actually stealing away the big wolf, so she will have a nice advantage in lane. And they are going to put a lot of damage onto these as the bindings do come out, and Elise is going to have a very nice time in this jungle, though she is going to be low on mana at the beginning of it. Olaf is going to be a little late to lane, as Rumble will just take a few minions before him, as he's actually waiting and trying to give a smiteless leash to Amumu. The Explorer ward has faded on the blue side. There's a nice binding by Morgana, and that's a good bit of damage on Katarina, and that forces her to likely use a potion in a minute or two. Or just play a little safer, as neither side really wants to get into a fight this early. Katarina has opted for boots first, and that will mean she won't looking to roam around the map. And down bottom, it's going to be Graves Lulu versus Sona Misfortune. That is a basically even lane. It's going to be a fairly decent farm off unless there's a gank from a jungler, as Graves doesn't have a good way to really set up his buckshot combo, and Misfortune and Sona can kind of heal up any real damage that they take. Looks like Graves and Lulu did take the golems, and that gives them a little bit of a lane advantage, as Sona is still only level 1. She will now just hit level 2 and get her heal up. She is going to be forced to burn a lot of potions, keeping things alive, but she did start with a lot of wards and that crystalline flask. Looks like Elise is going to come up top, but there is a ward spotting her out, as the pings do go down up top. Olaf does know she's there, and I don't think we're even going to see a fight happening, though we just might, but the camera won't turn to it. There it goes. As Olaf does get a little bit low, Olaf did not have to burn any summons at this point, so he is in good shape still. But he's losing a lot of potions, and he did start with a lot, so we should be okay. He started with enough potions that he could have easily 2v1'd, should that have actually arisen, but it did not. Lanes are basically going standard as expected, and I think most teams are just going to farm it out from here. They both have a lot of AoE ultimates and a lot of mid-game team fighting power on both sides. And I think that's where both sides say, hey, we've got a better mid-game team fight, let's take advantage of it. And I'm not sure who actually has the better mid-game team fight. Amumu's going to come in up top on the Rumble. Will Rumble be able to spot him out? I think he won't, but there's the bandage toss actually landing, and Rumble will flash away at the last second. Though Olaf is in the area, and this should be first blood, as Rumble just does not have a ward placed. And Rumble really needs a ward up top. Even if you have to sacrifice some potions. You just have to get that early ward, as ganks like that really spell doom for you, as you're going to be behind the entire game. Especially as they push several waves of minions into the tower. Looks like Morgana's getting slightly zoned out as she is very low on mana. And there is the big push up top. As I said, looks like 2 minion waves are going to be fully pushed before Rumble gets back. And that's 2 whole minion waves lost in terms of experience and actually killing them. Looks like we are going to have Elise come down bottom. Elise will be in range if she actually wants to start a gank on 2 Graves and Lulu. I don't think she's going to start a gank off, as she is just going to return to farming. Not sure why she was down that far, other than trying to spot something out. Katarina getting some really nice farm in the mid lane. As she is up ahead of Morgana at this point, and looking to go roam around the map. She does place a ward at the race, which is a very nice ward, as it prevents Elise or Morgana from running up top without being spotted. Looks like we do have Sona and Misfortune going back, as Graves and Lulu went back a few moments ago. Graves decided to pick up a Vamp Scepter, while Misfortune is doing the exact same thing. Rumble doing a lot of damage up top, but he is in trouble as Amumu does come in. He does miss the bandage toss-up, which means he will take a lot of damage. The question is, will they be able to actually finish him off? Amumu is taking a lot of damage, but that does mean Olaf gets away safely. And that's Rumble is not having a good time, as he just has been camped by Amumu this game. And the problem is Elise hasn't gotten anything for it. If Elise were getting kills elsewhere, it would have been okay. But it's not, as Olaf is going to be a real tanky threat later, and Amumu is going to be able to pick up either an early Aegis of the Legion, which is what it looks like, as he is not opted for the traditional Spirit Stone or Philosopher's Stone build. And they're likely going to look to teamfight early. Looks like Elise has taken a good bit of damage mid lane, but she has picked up a lot of minions, and she needs to just go farm or get a good gank off. I don't think she's going to have a chance of getting a good gank, so she really just needs to farm at this point. Morgana has gone back, picked up the double Duran's rings. Elise Misfortune dealing a lot of damage to Graves at this point, as she does back up and only take 1 hit of that little Durance. And looks like Lulu has almost picked up Philosopher's Stone, same here with Sona. We do have a Kindle Gem up onto Olaf, looking for that massive cooldown reduction build that most Olafs love. We do have Rumble picking up an Amplifying Tome, Spirit Stone up onto Elise, likely going to turn that into the Spectral Wrath or Ancient Golem versions. Looks like Rumble's going to throw out some good damage on Olaf, and they are the same level, but they're the opposite ends of the level, thanks to those kills, and the fact they push multiple waves into the tower. Rumble just needs to sit back and farm at this point. He's not going to be able to bully Olaf. And that's what happens when you don't put a ward early. For top laners, it's almost a requirement nowadays to place an early ward up top. Even if you do get ganked, it really prevents you from dying to the gank. You still lose out, but you can't really give away kills, especially not to Olaf. Olaf is going to snowball hard enough that he should be able to run in right past everyone and get to Misfortune if he continues on this path. They both have hit 6 now, and I fully expect to see another gank coming soon from either Elise or Amumu. Amumu more likely, as he is rotating up top or taking the long way around mid, but the pink wards from the red side mean that they will be able to grab that ward and take dragon control for a little bit of time. Lulu taking another hit from Sona, and she is just not in fighting shape at this point. Graves is not either, as he's out of potions. Bunch of potions up onto Misfortune, and we are going to see at least Amumu meeting up top in the jungle. If we can actually flip to it. Come on, camera, you can do it. No, we aren't, as Amumu just decided to place a ward at the red buff. But here we go. Olaf is pushing it onto Rumble, and Amumu is sitting there at the red buff. Elise does spot him out, and I don't think that she's going to actually go for it. They are both sides just going to back up, as they don't really want to fight at this point. And Rumble is not in a very good spot. He is farming pretty well, but he's still down those 2 kills. He does throw his ultimate across, and that does do a good bit of damage to Olaf, but Olaf with those reckless swings really just putting Rumble in a bad spot. We do see Misfortune and down bottom doing a really good job against Graves, up 14 CS. And Katarina doing a nice job, up almost 10 in the mid lane. But the problem is Katarina has not actually done anything as of late. Sona's popped her ultimate down bottom to get some good damage on Graves, and Graves is going to have to go back pretty soon, though Mumu is in the area down bottom. And will Amumu actually be able to get this gank off? I think he will. He does miss the bandage toss as Sona's just a little far, but there goes the ultimate. Exhaust places on Misfortune, and Sona might be able to get away if she does have flash. No, Graves does flash forward. That means a dead Sona, but there's the kill onto Graves as Graves walked right back into Misfortune ultimate. Misfortune is in a bit of trouble, but she is able to flash out, and she should be okay under tower. I don't foresee Amumu wanting to actually die this as the Glitter Lance hits, and Misfortune is pretty low, but Amumu should fall for it. No, he does not. The last tower hit just out of range, but Elise is going to come and pick this up. And will Elise get there in time? No, she does not. She was just a second too late. Almost getting that kill, but just not enough. And that's really kind of frustrating, as she wanted that kill desperately. Would have given her double buffs. Score is 4-1 with a 1,500 gold lead for the blue team, and that just comes down to these ganks. Amumu's getting ganks off while Elise isn't, and Amumu's even farming on par with Elise. Elise not doing a great job of farming. She's tried to make several ganks happen, but they just haven't materialized. And this Olaf is getting bigger and bigger. Looks like Katarina is going to go for the super penetration build, picking up the Abyssal Scepter and haunting guys later on. We are going to have Sona picking up the Sight Stone as Lulu finished off the Sight Stone and Philosopher's Stone. Misfortune picking up a Brutalizer, likely going to go into a Black Cleaver, as the Black Cleaver is so incredibly good with her ultimate. Amumu has come down bottom and looking to set up another gank. His ultimate is down for another few seconds, and I don't think they're going to need it though. Though Sona's Crescendo will be up if by the time they actually get into a fight. So if Amumu does land, the Crescendo from Sona will be used to good effect. And they are trying to bait this out, but Graves is taking a lot of damage, and I'm not sure it's going to be enough. There goes Sona with a Crescendo over Graves, but Graves just does not die, as the Lulu ultimate is there to protect him. Ultimate from Amumu's back up, but Misfortune cleanses it away. And they are going to die for this kill on Misfortune. Will Misfortune actually pick up the kill this time? Looks like they do. Pick up Misfortune as Lulu finishes it off, and this bottom lane is now not going well. Just the lack of warding by the red side here means that they are not getting things done. If they had one or two additional wards, they could have easily not been killed in these situations and not be down 2,000 gold. And at this point, Elise really needs to start getting some ganks off, as she has not gotten a single successful one off, and the only kill has been a trade down bottom with Misfortune. Blue team is doing a great job of roaming around with Amumu. Looks like Olaf might pick up a Warmongs, looking to stave off all that massive magic damage, and Amumu picking up the Runic Bulwark to also prevent that magic damage. Elise has gone for Spirit Stone in addition to a Philosopher's Stone. Rumble likely to go for a Hextech Revolver up soon. Sona does throw a ward in that bush, but Elise is coming in from the bottom lane. Will Elise actually get the kill down bottom? We're not going to be able to see it. There we are, but it is not a kill. And this Elise is still really far behind and has not been much of a factor in this game. She hasn't even been farming particularly well, as she's kind of tried ganks, but none of them have even close to materialized. As we do see Ruby Sightstone up onto Lulu. We do see Morgana going for the Zani's Hourglass, having picked up the Needlessly Large Rod, and she will pick up red buff here. Up top, Olaf and Rumble are still going to be duking it out, as Amumu is doing a good bit of counter jungling at this point, going to take the race from the enemy team. It looks like Morgana is going to run up here and just continue to farm. And I really do think the red side needs to force an objective as soon as Sona's Crescendo is back up. They have a good advantage in their lanes. Misfortune is a little bit stronger than Graves, and they do have Elise here. They also have just a really big AoE ultimate combo that I think would be able to win a good fight. Looks like Morgana does pop her ultimate on Katarina, and Katarina will get hit by it, but is not stunned, as that is a bug. And that means Katarina will win this trade pretty heavily, thanks to that bug on Morgana. As that did go off, looks like Dragon is being pressured by Elise, letting her Spiderlings tank it, as she does pick it up with a smite. And they do not want to go in. That's a much needed kill on that Dragon, but they are going to trade it for top tower, as Rumble has no chance of fighting a Moon roll off. And the lead is back to about 2,000 gold. Looks like Graves does pop the cleanse on the Sona Crescendo, which does not actually land. But that is a pretty decent trade, as the Crescendo will be up slightly ahead of cleanse. Not by much, but there's going to be a small 10 to 20 second window until Sona hits the second level. Looks like Miss Fortune blows her ultimate off, and Lulu is forced to burn her ultimate as well. That's actually an even better trade. Miss Fortune ultimate is a very low cooldown. It's slightly lower than Lulu's as well, and they both ultimates on the red side will be ahead of the blue side ultimates and summoners. So if they do get into an engagement, they will have them up for about 20 or 20 seconds pretty soon. Or 10 or 20 seconds when the red side ultimates are up and the blue side summoner and ultimates are down. Looks like we do have the Abyssal Scepter completed up onto Katarina, in addition to Sorcerer's Shoes. Amumu really close to that Runic Bulwark, as he has picked up all the components, just needing that big combined cost. We do see Haunting Guise soon to be completed on Rumble, as he has picked up the Hextech Revolver. Elise picking up a Chain Vest. Not sure what she's going to turn that into. Might turn it into Zanya's, might go more tanky with something like a Sunfire Cape. We do have Miss Fortune going for a Brutalizer, as Graves goes for the Bloodthirster. And we do have Morgana with an needlessly large rod, soon to complete her Zanya's Hourglass. But Morgana's just not doing a very great job in these fights here, as she's just not been able to shut Katarina down. They're both basically free farming, and free farming Katarina is never good. Looks like Elise is trying to get into this bottom bush, but I don't think she'll be able to, as there is a ward in that bottom bush, and Elise will be spotted out as soon as she enters, though the ward has just died. Amumu is in the area as well, and it might be a 3-on-3 fight, and 3-on-3 fight I definitely favor the blue side here, as Amumu's ultimate is really dangerous. Morgana pops the ultimate in mid lane as Katarina does go about her business. Katarina is stunned this time, and Katarina is much worse for wear, though Katarina ultimate is up, so if she can get a good one off, she will be just fine. Looks like Amumu's coming in trying to get something started, but just not in time, as everyone decided to back up. It was a nice try by Amumu, but he was spotted thanks to a ward in the river. And they are still going in as Miss Fortune takes a lot of damage from Lulu. Amumu is spotted in the back thanks to some minions, and I don't think he's going to get in range to get a very good ultimate or banish us off. Looks like Sona does just dodge to the side and is perfectly fine. So Amumu now wasting a good bit of time bottom, as Olaf has completed his Warmongs and is really not going to be any threat from Rumble. Rumble has to group up and team fight here. He can't continue to stay up top and just continue to trade farm with Olaf. Olaf will get stronger as he's picking up kills, and the rest of his team is going to pick up a bunch of magic resistance. And there's not a whole lot of physical damage other than Miss Fortune. While she does have good physical damage, it's not going to be enough. She really needs the help of the Morgana and Rumble to kill off people. Looks like blue buff has spawned for the red side, but it will be either taken by Amumu or just kind of camp for a while. Rumble does throw his ultimate out and does a little bit of damage to Olaf, but not a whole lot happening as Miss Fortune does jump in on two Graves down bottom, and Amumu and Katarina are likely to go rotate up top, as we do have Lulu popping her own ultimate. Ultimate by Miss Fortune goes down, but it is not a whole lot of damage at this point. She really needs 11. Sona does flash forward, but Lulu flashes in return. And the red side here just needs to go push this tower down. They are down about 3,000 gold here. Amumu is spotted out, and he will not try anything at this point, as his laners are a little too weak to actually fight it out. Though he is going to come in here and try and defend this tower. I don't think he's going to be able to, as Miss Fortune and Sona, along with the help of Elise, should be able to take him down if he stays too long. Morgana does pop her ultimate again in the mid lane, but it is not enough as Graves pops his own ultimate. Amumu does get fairly low, but is not stunned by Elise. And in mid lane, Katarina does get away nice and safe, as Morgana just does not have the damage at the moment to burst her, even though she has picked up an Hourglass at this point. The red team really just needs to group up as 5 and start pushing. If they can push and force a team fight, their ultimates together will win a team fight. But at this point, they're not using the advantage they have in terms of mid-game ultimates, as I think their mid-game ultimates are so much better, especially if they can burn off Amumu's ultimate in kind of a side fight, even if it sacrifices someone like the support. Morgana is going to be picking up blue buff here, or at least taking it, as I do think Elise needs it a bit more than Morgana at this point. Morgana just is basically an ultimate with a really nice initiation ability. And that's just what it's going to come down to. If Morgana can land some ultimates, the red team needs to group up. I'm going to hammer this in because it's the most important point right now. If the Red team can group up and throw all their ultimates off in a good fight, they're going to win that fight ridiculously hard. They can't group up and throw out fights and keep taking these kind of scrimmage fights. They're going to lose, as the blue team scrimmage is just that much better. Looks like Elise is in the area and prevents them from running up and stopping the ward kill on the pink ward. As we do see a group up down bottom, as everyone's going to group up for the dragon, which should be spawning in about 10 to 20 seconds, I believe. I'm not sure the exact time on it, but it is pretty soon. Yeah, and there we go. There's dragon just spawned. Everyone's going to be down here for a fight, and this is exactly what the red team needed to do. Dragon's a great objective to challenge, and the question is, will they actually challenge it? I'm not sure. It's going to be a 5v5 fight, and it depends how well they can actually group up. Rumble is going to be spotted down bottom, as there is a ward in that bush, and we're going to come in, but no, he decides, I don't want to deal with it, and it looks like Olaf and Katarina really don't want to fight. They're doing the smart thing and just split pushing down mid, and they can just continue to take these towers and force bad engagements. This is almost a base rate. Rumble does throw his ultimate down, but it is not enough to get in range, as they're just a little too far, and they're going to continue to push and trade towers. Morgana should be able to hold the mid tower with her tormented soil, but it looks like the blue team is trying to get in here, and will they actually be able to? I think Amumu's going to be just slowed enough thanks to Rumble that he's not going to get in, though he does flash forward and pops a good 4-man ultimate. As Morgana is not here, Elise jumps up into the air. There goes the Sona ultimate on for Katarina, and there goes Misfortune down before the fight even starts. And it looks like that's the catch out they really needed. Morgana does go in there, and she will be able to pop her ultimate. Hits 3, and she is going for Graves, but Sona will go down, and there goes Graves as Elise does come in and picks off Lulu. But there's Katarina with the resets, and that is a huge win for the blue side, as they just caught out 4v5 and weren't able to throw their ultimates together in combination. Red team has better ultimates, but they just couldn't get them all put together. Rumble ultimate was burned chasing. Morgana ultimate was burned kind of on the back end to pick up 1 or 2 kills, but those 1 or 2 kills are not very priority kills. And this means Dragon goes down for the blue side, and they are now up 4,000, getting close to 5,000 gold. And they have the much more momentum. Looks like Elise is going for a tanky build, going to pick up a Frozen Heart, as we do have Rumble finishing off his Haunting Guys, in addition to the Hextech Revolver. You do see a Zani's Hourglass in addition to a bunch of Doran's Rings up on Morgana. Misfortune including the Black Pleather, Vampiric Scepter, and Berserker's Greaves. Sona with the Ruby Sight Stone in addition to Philosopher's Stone. We do see Lulu picking up the Early Shirley's Reverie in addition to the Ruby Sight Stone. Graves has finished off a Bloodthirster and Zeal, likely going to bring that into a Phantom Dancer next. We do have Katarina with the Needlessly Large rod picked up instead of going for the Hunting Guys after having picked up the Abyssal Scepter and Sorcerer's Shoes, but now she has completed a Death Cap, and she is going to do a real chunk of damage in these team fights if she can actually get in there. And she has the ability to get in there with the Amumu ultimates and Lulu, able to just kind of pick people off. Amumu has completed the Runic Bulwark in addition to the Boots of Mobility, and likely going to go into a Warmongs next, as he has the Ruby Crystal and Rejuvenation Bead. Olaf has completed the Warmongs in addition to a Hex Drinker, Ninja Tabi, and Kindle Gem. And it looks like we are going to see both teams just kind of setting up, not really wanting to fight at the moment. And I think that's probably for the best, as both teams just need, as the red side needs to kind of wait it out until they pick up their next items. They're gotten close. Rumble has completed the Aldrich Torment now. And if they can kind of wait it out for the next item, they'll be okay. But if they can't wait out one more item before fighting and not get even further behind, they're going to be in trouble. Looks like we do have a Amumu up top, and this will be a dead Rumble. I don't see any way he's getting out of it. He's just overextended the entire game without ward coverage. He does throw his ultimate down, but it is not going to be enough, as Olaf and Amumu are just way too tanky. Though he is doing a good job of getting away, the axe does not land, but Amumu's bandage toss will be up at any point, and Amumu does burn his ultimate, making sure they get that kill. And Rumble has just not been in position the entire game. He's been called out way too many times. And if he had placed 1 or 2 wards, this would not be down. They would not be down as far as they are. Morgana coming in. Morgana ultimate is up, but they are just going to sacrifice the tower, as they don't want to fight a 4v3. And 4v3 would not be good, especially with Olaf or Amumu tanks the tower. They're tanky enough that the tower is not going to do a whole lot of damage to them. looks like we are going to see Mercury Treads picked up by Lulu. We are going to have Katarina picking up a Chain Vest, likely into a Guardian Angel, so she can basically wait around after fighting. Miss Fortune going to jump in on Graves. Graves going to take a good bit of damage, but Miss Fortune needs to haul tail out of there, as likely someone's going to come chase her in a moment. Because Olaf could easily solo her. Same with most people on the blue side. She's just not tanky or dealing enough damage. The only person that she can really beat at this point is Graves, just because Graves had not completed that crit item, as he has just completed his Phantom Dancer. And right now both sides are just going to go back to farming, and it is a almost 6,000 gold lead for the blue team, as they've just taken far more towers and objectives this game. In addition to that, they've just picked up several really key kills, especially on that top lane Rumble and down bottom under Miss Fortune. Binding goes out for Morgana, but no such luck landing it, as Olaf is trying to split push down bottom to take out that bottom turret. It looks like the red team will decide to group up as 5 and just push the mid lane. I think they could win a fight even if they have to go under tower. Have Morgana take the first few tower hits, and then pop the Zhong's Hourglass and have it rotate over to someone like Elise, and they could easily win a tower dive engagement. Bloodthirster has been completed onto Miss Fortune, and we are just going to see that group up as 5. The problem is Rumble has to go down bottom now, and he won't have his ultimate available for these fights. Nice stun there by Elise. Keeps Amumu from actually engaging in these fights. And we are going to see a nice tower push by the blue side. Will they actually be able to go in? I think they will. It's going to be a 5v4 fight. And there's a free tower, and they just back up afterwards. They don't have to stay and fight. They can just back up. They're far enough ahead, and they have enough control that they're going to win a fight outside of a tower, or outside of a really perfect 4 or 5 man ultimate from Sona, Rumble, and Morgana. And the blue team is playing it very smart. They need to just go farm up some more, grab that next item, and then roll through a team fight. Or even they just go for split pushing, as they don't actually have to win a team fight at this point. Only 1 hour tower remains for the red team, and that is pretty much wide open at this point, as I don't think they really want to send anyone bottom lane on the red side, or this will be an easy Baron, as they have a lot of damage coming out from the blue side, with Katarina going for a very ability power focus. So advantage toss, but does not get in range. Looks like there is an ultimate for Morgana, only hitting 2, but the Amumu ultimate does a lot of damage as they run through. Sona ultimate hits 3, and there's Katarina going down, as Miss Fortune is getting shot down really hard, but Olaf is just too tanky at this point, and this means that the blue side is going to finish that fight off. Morgana popped her ultimate just a little prematurely, as it only got 2 people hit, and there was just nothing happening there, as Olaf is way too tanky at this point. I don't think Olaf can actually be killed this game. He is virtually unstoppable. Same thing with Amumu. Amumu with the Warmonks, in addition to the Runic Bulwark, is a real tanky force. Morgana is going to try and protect this inhibitor, but I don't think she's going to be able to, as Graves does a lot of damage at this point. And the red team has not comboed their ultimates together. They picked a team comp where they really needed to combo their ultimates, but were unable to do so. And if you don't combo your ultimates, it's really kind of dangerous, especially when your team requires it. But the one advantage for the red team is their mid lane's going to be pushing. They can grab up all that extra farm. We are going to see a Frozen Heart coming out real soon from Elise, and it looks like the red team is looking to just ward up Baron, as Miss Fortune was spotted down bottom. But Miss Fortune wisely is going to use her passive to just run all the way there. Morgana is going to be caught out. She does have her ultimate. She needs to burn it, but she doesn't want to. Though she is forced to and gets 3 members, but there is no follow-up on that ultimate, and they do go down real quickly. And this is just what happens when you get caught out. Morgana was caught out being a little greedy, not ward checking things. And this should be red buff taken in addition to a Baron, as I don't think they can fight without Morgana. Olaf's just going to go run in zone, and he has enough health that he really doesn't have to worry about anything, as he has thrown his axes across. Looks like Miss Fortune does pop her ultimate, hitting everyone, and they might actually have to back out of Baron here. Katarina has completed the Guardian's Angel as Olaf does run through, and Olaf does not care as he is just going to do a ton of damage to everyone. Misfortune is getting caught out here as she has popped her cleanse, but they did stop Baron, the only good thing, but Misfortune is going to go down, and she will not take Katarina's Guardian Angel with her. Sona going down on the back end as well, and it looks like the blue side is just going to start up Baron again. Rumble's ultimate is down, and Olaf will finish off Elise, not recognizing the fact that there was a ward in that bush. And this should be a good game in favor of the blue team as soon as they finish this Baron off. There's just no real chance for the red team to come back, as there's not going to be a good objective up for a while, and they're not going to have a real good chance to throw out their ultimates together in a small space like Baron or Dragon. If Morgana hadn't gotten picked off beforehand, they might have had a real good fight there. But she did, and that's why they decided to do Dragon. Looks like we are going to have Graves completing up his last Whisper. Chalice up onto Lulu, likely going to bring that into the Crucible. Looks like Sona has disconnected as there is a surrender vote coming out at the 30-minute mark. And that is just what happens when you don't ward properly. If Rumble warded properly, this game probably would have gone very differently, as Olaf and Amumu got several really nice early kills off of him, and Amumu abusing the fact that they did not ward very well. Final score being 19-4, with about a 12,000 gold lead. As we do jump over to the in-game score screen, nothing much has changed since our last item check. But as I said a moment ago, Amumu really won that team in the game by ganking so incredibly well. Amumu landed several beautiful bandage toss ultimates and set up Olaf to snowball the lane, and he set up bottom lane with several kills as well. And that's really the advantage of a good jungler, and he should really get rewarded for that game. Thank you for watching Games Cast by PawnGypsy. For more commented games, please visit my YouTube and stream channels.